So we have our pieces of newspaper that are all nice and crisp and dry now, and we have our tree stems with their tiny little leaves on it. Now a couple of these smudged, but that's okay because I can cover them up with newspaper. What we're going to do now is we're going to make some leaf shapes. I'm going to just start with some simple leaf shapes. I have a few different shades here and I'm going to mix them in for our leaves. So I'm going to fold this piece over into 4 so that I can cut a few leaves at the same time. Now, the simplest leaf shape to make is like that eye shape we were talking about earlier. So a little stem at the beginning, curves up into a point, and then back around, and I'll stem at the end. I'm going to have some templates for some leaf shapes at the bottom of this video lesson, so you can copy them from there if you want to. But just remember, leaves, they're part of nature, so they're going to have a natural look to them, so they don't have to all be the same or look the same as mine. You can do different leaves. You can look out into your garden, see what's happening on the trees, see what leaf shapes you can find there. Now I'm just cutting that so that all the leaves open up, and that one doesn't have a tip on it, so I'm just going to cut it properly. Now, so that's some leaves. I'm just going to cut out a bunch more leaves. We have all our leaves. We're going to get our glue stick. You can use a glue stick or PVA glue. We're going to start sticking them down. So this is where our artwork becomes a mixed media because we're using paint and paper. So we're turning it into a collaged artwork. For our leaves, to make them have a 3D feel, to pop out of the page, what I do is I pinch the center up like that a little bit. So like a tiny little ridge in it. Pinch it up and I squish it between my fingers like that. Just want that little line so that when we stick it onto our page, it wants to pop off the page. So we're going to do that for a few leaves before we stick them down. Now, so we have enough of our leaves pulled up. I'm going to put some flat ones down first. So just put a little bit of glue on the back. Now, these are flat, so we want them to stick fully to the page. So I'm putting glue all on the back of this one. The ones that I want to pop off the page, I'm only putting glue at the stem part. Not putting anything up here, just a tiny bit there. So then we get that 3D effect. Some of them are back further away and some of them are popping off the page. Sometimes what I like to do is mix in the colour. So have different shades on the same stem, like that. So I like when my leaves come off the page as well. I like that effect. And here I've got quite a few leaves going this way, so I want to have some going the other direction as well. It's important to balance it so that it doesn't look too lopsided. And then I always make sure that I don't put them right opposite each other, that they're slightly off-centered from the other one. So this one just needs a leaf on this corner here. And there's a lot of leaves going this way on this plant. I'm going to put one going that way. So there is our mixed media artwork using newsprint and paints. This is another one that I did. I added in some blue birds to it as well. So you can keep going. You can add lots of different elements. You could even add like little people, whatever you want to the bottom. You can make this look really big by having really small figures at the bottom. If you wanted to add a small person, you could do it like this. So if you think about what a carrot looks like, a carrot sticking out of the ground. Just a little carrot with a tiny little head like that. Make a tiny gap between the head and the body. And put a little person there as well. Tiny gap. And we just put a little line so it looks like people. And immediately, by adding those two figures there, it makes these trees look like they're massive. So that is giving a tiny concept of scale. So I hope you enjoyed this arts and crafts lesson and you learned some new painting skills about the pressure of your brush, about colour and tinting, and how to create some collaged mixed media artworks. I'll see you next time for the next lesson from the Craft Corner.